Hello, hello. Is
I'm
that
like,
Andrew?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. How are you?
Andrew, how's it going?
I'm literally beside myself to be having this opportunity, miss. I really am. You,
Oh my goodness, me too with you.
your catalog of work and your range is, I mean, unfathomable to someone like me. I sit at a computer and behind a camera. I can't carry a note in a bucket. And hearing and learning that you know, I've heard your name mentioned over the years, and then and then I saw you work with Tom Petty, and I mean he's a big influence growing up for me, and so knowing that you work with him and several other artists, and then now obviously Mr. Gilmour, it's just I'm over the moon being able to talk to you today, uh,
Oh,
and congratulations on your newest edition, by the way. So
thank you. Do you mean album or or child?
uh, both. The work that goes into them, I'd imagine, are about equal. So
Oh, incredible, incredible.
So,
Oh,
uh, yeah. So again, thank you for taking time for me today. I really appreciate it. Um,
oh, thank you. Well, that's my alarm to remind me. I'll turn that off now. Yeah, and I've been seeing your wonderful work on the Unrated magazine website, and you also take photographs, don't you?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's my
Wow, well,
passion.
you're hugely broad in your talents. My goodness.
I'm very fortunate in loving what I do. So
Wow, yeah, your photographs are fabulous. I was
thank you.
looking at
Thank you.
Anarchy's Child. They look really dynamic in your pictures.
Oh, really? Thank you.
Yeah.
I just did a show last night with Silent Theory, and then I have another one coming up, a Mongolian band next Friday, The Who. Not the '70s band. It's a metal Mongolian throat singing metal band. They're phenomenal. The things that they
Oh
do
my
with their voice and the throat singing
God.
is just insane.
I don't know if I can imagine what that is, Andrew. That's so unique.
It's spelled the HU. Just look them up on YouTube. It's
Hue.
phenomenal.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking them up. The hue.
Yeah.
Wow, they look really dynamic. How incredible. Oh, thanks for sharing that. I love a
Absolutely.
recommendation.
That's awesome.
Oh, brilliant. And how's your day been going?
Oh, it's been, I'm at work right now, so I'm using my lunch to talk with you. So it's another day in the cave. So I'm an IT guy. I'm not in the basement. Literally, you can't get more stereotypical than this. So,
I love it. Well, thank you so much for fitting me in today.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, I just gonna get this kicked off for you. The first thing out of my mind was touring's hard enough. How are you doing that with a toddler and a newborn? I can't fathom that.
The answer is sometimes not cleaning my teeth, which I'm mortified about because I've always been a really thorough teeth cleaner. But sometimes I'm like, literally, the toothbrush is in there for about 3 seconds, and well, I hope that it's done its job. um, it's been quite balls to the wall, but I have to say, there's just an abundance of things happening. So I just feel really grateful because there's definitely been times where I've been on the sofa in my pajamas thinking, is there a world out there? So I really can't complain.
Oh, absolutely. I spent
Yeah.
3 days on tour with a band I'm friends with, and after 3 days, I slept for 2 days. I'm like, no, just no. And you're doing it with kids. No.
You know, you're so right, Andrew. There's some kind of fatigue that touring can bring, which is unlike anything else. But, we are very lucky in the fact that, to come home and have somewhere to go and put laundry on and have clean clothes. It really is the little things when you get back and just having a nice meal. And I think about all the people that are just displaced right now in the world, and I
Yeah,
think, oh
yeah,
my gosh, if I catch myself complaining, I'm gonna give myself a pinch on the bum.
yeah. Understood. Completely understood.
Yeah.
Um, something that I've never had the ability to ask anybody is because you play the harp.
Yes.
While you're touring and traveling, how often does that need to be maintained or tuned up or tuned in or whatever?
Good question. Regularly. The harp is
Mhm,
quite temperamental to
mhm.
moisture change and temperature change. So
Really?
you really have to tune it quite regularly. We've just done a series of shows in Rome with
Mhm,
David, and the temperature was quite variable. So,
mhm,
I mean, when I'm playing, I tune in between songs sometimes. It's because it's wooden and it moves with the moment.
mhm.
Yeah, a lot of tweaks, but I try not to tune too much in between songs because it gets a bit annoying to hear bing, bing, bing. But you know what it's like. It's that balance between can I bear it being just a little bit left of center, or can I just keep the flow going? But I'm
And
very spoilt on this tour because I have someone tuning it for me,
oh
which
wow,
is wonderful.
one less thing to worry about.
Yes, exactly, Andrew.
What do you play? Any other instruments?
I play the mandolin very badly. I probably shouldn't say I play it at all because then it sets me up for someone to go play this and I'll go bling. But no, I love the mandolin. I am playing a chord and I don't even know what the chord is called. That's how much of a beginner I am, but I really enjoy it.
Well, if you're enjoying it, there's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Then
Yeah.
Um,
What are your favorite instruments?
when I was a kid, I had severe respiratory issues, and I wanted to play football, so I took up saxophone. I played tenor, alto, and baritone when I was in fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh grade.
Oh my
And
goodness, that's
after that,
amazing.
and I tried picking up bass guitar because, again, growing up loving rock music and loving the work with Pink Floyd and everything, and growing up on Kiss and Pink Floyd and a couple other rock and Led Zeppelin and stuff, I was enthralled by Gene Simmons and also the bass tracks in Pink Floyd. So I wanted to play bass, and I could not, for the life of me, get the hand-eye coordination for playing strings.
Oh
And
wow.
then when I saw people and when I go to concerts and stuff, or like more classical concerts, and I would see a harp, and it's like that's more than four strings. No,
Yeah.
it was just, again, it comes back to the way that people can create music or sing or harmonize. It just, I'm sorry, it doesn't click to me. And so that's why I'm in such awe of your work, especially in the range of projects you've done over the years.
Oh,
It's just amazing to me. So
thank you so much, Andrew.
um, I was just curious, considering all the people you've worked with and everything, that brings up two questions in one, I guess. One, is there anybody you haven't worked with but you want to? And have you ever been starstruck by anybody you have worked with?
Such an interesting thought. I'd love to work with so many people.
Mhm,
Kate Bush, Paul McCartney. I would have loved to have been in a room with Sinead O'Connor.
mhm, mhm.
Um, I'd love to do some work on film music as well.
Ah, okay.
Um, Starstruck, permanently starstruck. I mean, being sitting next to Tom Petty on an aeroplane every day, I was permanently starstruck and in awe of him and just blown away by his depth and his
Mhm,
kind heart. Really
mhm.
unique person. Yeah.
I never had the pleasure of seeing him live. I've At one point in my life, I've owned his entire catalog at least twice on CD, tape, or LP. So, so I can,
Oh, yes.
yeah. So I can only imagine being able to sit next to the man at all, let alone a job for it. So,
Oh, tell me, what's your favorite Petty and the Heartbreakers album?
the greatest hits one, honestly. My favorite video was the one. I can't. The name escapes me right now. Uh,
Oh,
where they do the Alice in Wonderland theme. I forget the name of the song. I am drawing a blank right now. And
oh,
uh, Don't Come Around Back Here. And
oh, yes.
yeah, I was, again, when I was on MTV when I was a kid, I was just enthralled at the
Oh my
set
God.
design, the video, the music, how it all told the story and pulled it all together. It just
Oh,
the man was just phenomenal, and his music is such a large part of my life. That's why I got into photographing music as being able to capture the moment. And then when I was learning photography, somebody told me the most difficult thing you can do is photograph a concert. All right, I'll start with that.
yes. Amazing.
Mhm.
That
So,
is so cool.
again, going back to considering the people you have worked with, what was it like for you when you got tapped to work with David Gilmour?
It was quite extraordinary. David called me on my cell phone because I'd been in touch with him previously. He'd asked me to help out figure a harp for his daughter, Romany.
Mm-hmm.
And and so I had his details in my phone. And when I was on a train and I saw David Gilmour calling, and I was like, oh my golly, this is a prank. And then it wasn't. And he just very calmly said, I'm going on the road and I'd love you and your sister Charley to come. And I'm such a fan of him and his work and his creativity. So it was a huge yes. Oh, here we go, Andrew. We've got a little baby coming in here to have a bit of milk. Hope you don't mind.
Not at all, man. That's part of life. I understand.
Thank you. Hello,
Oh, look at
Noah.
those cheeks. Oh my goodness.
Hello, Noah. This is our friend Andrew here.
Oh my goodness, those cheeks.
Cheeks for days. Cheeks
Oh
for days.
goodness.
Hello, my cheeky bear. You're very ready for some foodie now. Yeah, I hear you.
What's his name?
So she's a girl, and her name's
she.
Noah. Yeah,
Noah, okay.
You're right though. I have a son as well. He's 2. His
Okay.
name's Hector, and she's called Noah. N-O-A.
I saw the blue and I heard Noah, and I'm like, oh, I just wanted to verify. Sorry about that. It's stereotypical.
No, it's great. It's great. Yeah.
She definitely has some cheeks for days. My goodness, that's flotation devices on her face.
You know it. You know it. It's just so
goodness.
wonderful.
Excuse me. So when you're trying to get into your creative space when you're working on your solo stuff and everything, or even collaborations, is there anything you do to put yourself in that? Because creativity can't be dictated, but sometimes you have to nudge yourself, even if you don't want to be. Do you have any things where you like kind of say, this is what I need to do this is what I'm doing, you know?
Really, yeah, this is really getting me thinking. I feel pretty lucky that the moment I sit down with my harp,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it automatically carves a space, and I just feel, even if I'm just tuning, ideas come up with sounds, and I'm so inspired by the sound of the harp. I feel it really immediately sets the scene for me being in this bubble of creativity. The time factor is a bit tricky in these chapters, just with looking after people and making sure everyone's bums are clean and all of that stuff, including my own occasionally. And so it's just, I think it's more in this chapter a time factor versus a space factor, because I feel just quite endlessly inspired by sound and feeling, and probably some traumas rearing their ugly head again in my psyche.
That's fantastic. I'm always I'm always curious about what weird inspirations people have. Like, what there's a weird situation. There's like the cued like something creative. And one thing I will never ask again is, what were you thinking when you wrote this?
Oh wow! No, I think that's a great question.
The reason I don't ask that anymore is when I interviewed the lead singer of Cultist Black, who I'm now friends with, and his stage name is L. And he said, I don't tell people what I'm thinking, because if you interpret a song differently than what I intended it to be when I wrote it, who am I to tell you how to interpret something?
Right.
So I'm like, I'm never asking that question again. So I ask about people's inspiration for things, or what brought you to a certain point, but I'll never ask, what were you thinking when you wrote that, or what did you mean by that? Because that's a very personal thing for you, and me as a listener, I'm probably going to interpret it completely differently. So,
wow, yeah, that's really, really insightful thought. I appreciate you sharing
that. So I am very curious, because especially the current situation, becoming a mother changed your perspective on writing music and storytelling?
It hasn't changed it, but it's brought it more into focus more than ever about the honesty of creativity and how important it is. For example, I feel with children, they're so intuitive, just like all people are, but we sometimes lose our connection with our intuition due to conditioning or stress or trying to fit in and all those things. And children are great teachers in that respect. I think that to really be honest about your experience. And I remember an English teacher saying to me, write what you know, write what you feel and write what you know, because then it will always be channeling something unique. And that thought that if you are who yourself, then you're really encapsulating a clear vision versus trying to be like someone else. And there's that fantastic quote. I don't know if you know this. I'm not going to paraphrase, so I'm going to read a little bit. But I often come back to this, and I think even in parenting, this also rings true for me. It's a Martha Graham quote, and it's, there is a vitality, a life force, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And there is only one of you in all time. This expression is unique. And if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium, and it will be lost. The world will not have it. It's not your business to determine how good it is, not how it compares with other expression. It is your business to keep it yours clearly and directly, to keep the channel open. You do not even have to believe in yourself or your work. You have to keep open and aware directly to the urges that motivate you. Keep the channel open. No artist is pleased. There is no satisfaction. There is only a queer, divine dissatisfaction, a blessed unrest that keeps us marching and makes us more alive than the others.
That's beautiful. That's, wow. That's something I think we all need to hear, especially creatives. Need to hear that more often,
Yeah. So I think in answer to your beautiful question, it just has distilled that even more for me, becoming a parent.
That's beautiful. Let's see here. So again, just being a musician, whether you're doing vocals or your harp or mandolin, terribly as you say, but
Dreadful mandolining.
Yeah, and so do you have any pre or post show rituals or habits you have to kind of either prep for or calm down from a show?
A dreadful amount, probably a massively OCD amount of things that I think I need to do. My main one, though, is an oil. It's called ashwagandha oil, and it's an Ayurvedic massage oil. And it's very grounding, and it helps support your nervous system. And it just gives me this real sense of calm and focus in my body. And so I can really hold the space to receive the creativity that's running through my veins in that one moment, and gets me less in my head and more into my animal body, which I find is much more trustworthy when it comes to creativity.
That's beautiful.
There's about 50 other things, including magnesium powder, EFT tapping, positive affirmations, screaming in a pillow, you name it, I've done it. Shouting, throwing a few fucks out the window. Fuck! She doesn't understand, thank goodness, so I'm poisoning her imagination, I hope. Or that actually, one could argue I shouldn't throw a few fucks around a newborn.
Sometimes primal scream helps you.
Does.
Yeah, it does. It does. The first time somebody told me, when you get really worked up, because I have my own issues and to deal with, and somebody said, try primal screaming. I'm like, that sounds so stupid. And one day I was driving down the highway, I was in my truck, and I just let something out, and that felt great. Yeah. And I have a certain song that I put on when I'm in really worked up, and I just put on loop for a couple plays. I sing along at the top of my lungs, and I'm hoarse afterwards, but I feel so much better.
That is so clever of you, Andrew. That's really wise of you. I salute that.
Thank you. With the release of Wild Medicine, are there any tracks on this new release that are more meaningful to you? And if so, would you be willing to share that with us?
Someone's just beaming a radiant smile at me here. There's a song called Ruined in the Rain, which is really important to me because I feel like it encapsulates my journey of kind of trusting outside of myself versus trusting my own intuition at times. And it's about coming back to that feeling within yourself and knowing to trust your own feeling and be grounded in that. And I definitely think a lot of painful experiences I've gone through were great learning curves, but I think had I trusted and got my hands in that soil of my own knowing, I perhaps wouldn't have gone through some of those things. So that song really encapsulates my journey of still learning to trust my gut feeling.
You have a video for that on YouTube.
I do.
Yeah, it was a beautiful video. That was actually the first one I watched. So,
Wow, thank you, Andrew.
It was a lot of love. I love a lot of your videos. They're very visually. There's I think Ruined in the Rain was the second one I watched, but what I had to do because I was trying to listen to the music, but I was getting too, I couldn't balance the visuals with the audio. So what I did is I stopped it, rewound it, muted it, watched the video, then I minimized the video with the audio on so I could hear it. And then I went back and watched it again. And it was just to process everything. It was a beautiful video. I loved that video. No joke.
Wow.
So
Thank
it was
you, Andrew.
No, it's just a cutie. I love the little cleft of hair, the friar tuck happening there.
Oh, it's so cute, isn't it?
Oh, goodness.
Oh, she's a tufty kitten. Oh. Oh. There was no bubble, so we're going to go back onto boob. Let's investigate.
That's fine. Like I said, that's life. That's human need. So trust me, I have no issues with that.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
So this is your second solo project.
Yes.
Do you feel that you've changed or evolved from the first one into this one, or is it kind of just a continuation?
That's the first time I've been asked that, and that's a really, really good question. I do think it's a continuation where the first album was very much coming to terms with my own internal process, my wounding, my getting to know myself in a way. I think this album is about taking a leap beyond. So I think it's the journey of internal to external, this album, in a different way. Yeah.
That's fantastic. As long as life happens, we have to learn from it and hopefully heal from it. And that's advice we can all take, myself included.
Yes.
So, once your tour with Mr. Gilmour is done and wrapped up, are you planning any solo tours or just going to kind of take some time down with the baby?
I'd love to. I think some solo tours will be on the horizon in 2025.
Okay.
For the rest of this year, it might be a bit more festival of elasticated clothing, but I am very much open to playing out live in 2025 and playing this album more. So, where are you based?
I'm based about an hour south of Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I got to come to Cleveland then.
I'll come to Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Columbus, and the magazine requested about photographing you while you're performing with Mr. Gilmour. If that were to be approved, I would be willing to make the trip to New York.
Oh,
I don't know how I'm going to do it.
Okay.
I would do it.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Okay. Well, we got to ask for that.
If
Oh, there we go, love there. There we go, little love. Aussies. We've all had something go down the wrong hole, haven't we? Oh. Yeah, love that. Okay, well, I got to get my buttocks to Cleveland.
Like I said, I'll travel if necessary, and I know that coordinating a tour cannot be easy. And it's on availability and whatnot. So if you're in the area, I'm happy to be there for you. Absolutely.
Well, thanks,
So,
Andrew.
um, when you get home from a tour, what do you do to wind down and just kind of decompress for yourself?
I think making some toast with butter on it. I love
Yes.
toast. And putting slippers on and looking out of the window and enjoying whatever season I'm in.
That's a very it's very serene, very calming sound. Yes.
Yeah, I
And
do like a bit of serene. I do love it. And maybe watching a period drama, although I've barely watched TV in about 2 years. Do you like watching films and TV?
I love movies and shows. What I like to do is when I'm working on a computer or something, I'll put on a show that I like or I've seen, so I have background noise. And if I miss something, I've already seen it, so it's not a big deal. Like my favorite show, my
Yes.
wife just got me for my birthday. She got me the entire series, the British show, The IT Crowd.
Oh,
And
wow.
being an IT guy, that show is hysterical. It is for me because it's a British comedy. There are some things that were the first time I watched it was kind of lost in translation because of certain hand gestures or certain vocabulary that the British use that I'm not familiar with. My wife is from Italy, and
No
uh,
way. Where in Italy?
she grew up in wow, I'm drawing a blank. Uh, Her dad grew up in Torino, and she grew up in Milano, and he was her dad was just over in Rome while you guys were playing in Rome. He was actually in Rome.
No way.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty funny.
Oh
And
my
I told him, I
goodness.
said, make sure you try to avoid the traffic because of this venue. This is where David Gilmour's playing right now. And he's like, really? I said, yeah. I said, you might want to avoid it unless you're going to go to the show.
That's so true. Oh, you must eat well. You must have some lovely Italian food in your
Friend,
household.
my best friend, he asks me all the time, how are you not 600 pounds? Just
Yes.
how?
You are a slim person in a good eating space. I mean, Italian food, you just can't go wrong, can you? It's just the best.
My wife and my mother-in-law, they make some really good food. They make some very good food. I'm very lucky.
Wow, that's so wonderful.
So, and I didn't do this with you because I didn't know if you would get my sense of humor. I have a weird sense of humor. It's very dry. And
I
so I
love
didn't do
it.
this.
Bring it
Uh,
on.
what I usually do in an interview, in between questions, I'll normally just throw in something completely random just to watch people's facial expressions.
Bring
Um,
it.
What's the Roman numeral for zero?
Oh, it's a really good one. I do know my fours and my sixes, but zero. Oh, pray tell, this is fascinating.
I don't think there is one. I like to ask weird questions.
Is there
Uh,
not one?
I don't believe there is.
Oh my
Honestly,
goodness.
I mean, if you have 10, X, you have 20,
Yes.
and so you have the implication of it, but you don't have an actual numerical representation of zero in Roman.
It's
There might
so
be one, but I don't know. So,
wow. Do you know one of my
um,
best friends? He runs a charity, and
mhm,
when he interviews people, he asks questions to see about people's out of the box thinking. And one of
mhm,
them is, if you were a giraffe,
mhm.
how would you navigate your last 10 minutes if the earth was ending or something like that? And it's fabulous to see what people answer with because it shows if you can think outside of the box and how you can navigate your way through this crazy life. I love it.
uh, 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 okay. With your touring and everything and all your experiences in concerts, venues have stands. Why are they called stands when they have chairs for you to sit?
This is such a good point. It's not a stance, it's a sits. It should be. I'm going to start saying this, Andrew. I'm going, how many people are in the sits tonight? I'm going
All
to
right.
change my lingo.
What do you think came first? Orange the color or orange the fruit?
Well, I think the fruit, because before we had a label for it, it probably existed. What do you think?
I honestly, it's kind of the chicken or the egg thing, because there's nothing that rhymes with orange. And, by the time I don't know where oranges were colonized originally or found
Yeah.
originally because they were tropic to somebody. And it's like, orange. Did they name it because the color was already developed? I don't know.
It's a very good thought. Oh,
um,
I love
okay,
this.
now, I don't know about your eating habits. I don't know if you're vegetarian or if you're,
Big, big fat pig. Give me
all right.
food. I just
But
eat at
I'm
every
sure,
opportunity.
I'm sure you know this, that tomatoes are actually considered a fruit by classification of science.
I
So that
do.
if tomatoes are a fruit, does that mean that ketchup is actually a smoothie?
This is such a good thought. This is going to reframe my son wanting ketchup. Since we've been in catering at the venue, he wants ketchup on things because he'd never had it before. And I always think it's a bad thing. But now it's just a smoothie.
It's just a fruit. It's just a smoothie.
It's just a smoothie. Oh, you've reframed for me, Andrew.
I'm glad I could help. So yeah, in all seriousness, I know you guys are playing New York, November what 6th, 7th, and so earlier part is November. And if permitted, I would be. I'm not gonna lie, I'd probably be emotional and cry a little bit if I got approved for it. But I will be
Oh,
being able. I've allegedly, this is allegedly, I've seen Pink Floyd twice in my life, and I've seen them once I remember, which was Division Bell tour in 1994. And my seats with binoculars, David Gilmour was that tall.
oh
And
my,
the other time, this is the allegedly part. My mom told me that when I was a baby, my mom and my dad had tickets to the Animals tour in Pittsburgh, and they lived in my area I'm at. And the sitter bailed last minute. And they're like, "Well, he's coming with us." So I was about Noah's age when I saw Animals. I don't remember it obviously, but that's why I say allegedly. I've seen them twice in my life, and the opportunity to photograph you performing with Mr. Gilmour would be like me seeing a unicorn riding a white whale. It's just putting it out there. I'm not trying to diminish you at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Miss Webb. It's just if I were to ever have the opportunity to photograph a David Gilmour event, that's my bucket list. That's the pinnacle of my bucket list.
that is
And
well, I'm going to write to management and request it.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm trying to choke back tears right now. I'm so excited. So
Oh, this is amazing, Andrew. Oh,
I like I said, Miss Webb, I cannot thank you enough for today. This has been amazing, and getting to meet Noah, she is beautiful. She is absolutely beautiful, and I
thank
really
you.
appreciate you taking time for me today. So I don't want to hold you up any longer. So and safe travels, and please, please, please be careful and safe and healthy out there on the road.
Thank
So
you so much, Andrew, and thank you for your really insightful, intelligent, brilliant, thought-provoking questions. I'm very grateful. I'm going to go around promoting everyone to squirt some ketchup and get that smoothie down their gullet. I
that's
just
great.
love
That's
that.
awesome.
Oh, it's the
Thank you
best.
so much for today. Thank you.
Oh, I'm going to be going out and just telling everyone your brilliant thoughts you've shared and I'm going to ask them about the Roman numeral. I'm going to get them.
If you'd like, I'll email you the list of questions I have here to Brian so he can pass them on for you. So that way.
Oh, please do it. Do it. I'd
Absolutely.
love
Absolutely.
that. Oh,
Okay.
it's so lovely to see you, Andrew, and I'm going to
Same.
request that through management.
Thank you. Seriously, thank
Yeah.
you, man. All
Yeah.
right. All right. I'll
Okay.
let you tend to Noah, and you have a great day, Miss Bud.
Have a great day, Andrew.
Bye.
Bye for now.